Have you ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself, who am I, really? Not your name, not your job, not the roles you play, but who you actually are beneath all of that. Most of us spend our entire lives defending something we call the self, protecting it, building it up, nursing its wounds. Yet we never stop to question whether this thing we're so desperately clinging to actually exists in the way we think it does. Today, we're going to explore one of the most radical and liberating teachings in all of Buddhism, a teaching that has the power to completely transform how you see yourself and the world around you. This is the teaching of Anatta, or no self, and I promise you, by the end of this conversation, you'll never look at your own identity the same way again. Before we dive in, if you're finding value in these explorations of Buddhist wisdom and you want to continue this journey together, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the insights coming your way. And if at any point today something resonates with you, drop a comment below. I read every single one, and your reflections help build this community of seekers. Let's start with something the Buddha said over 2,000 years ago. In the Anatta Sutta, one of his earliest and most profound teachings, he looked at his disciples and said, "Form is not self. Feeling is not self. Perception is not self. Mental formations are not self. Consciousness is not self." When his followers first heard this, imagine the confusion, maybe even the fear. What do you mean I'm not myself? If I'm not this body, not these feelings, not these thoughts, then what am I? This is where most people stumble when they first encounter the teaching of no self. We immediately think the Buddha is saying we don't exist, that we're somehow illusions or meaningless. But that's not it at all. The Buddha never denied that you're sitting here right now, reading or listening to these words. He never denied that you experience pain when you stub your toe or joy when you see someone you love. What he's pointing to is something far more subtle and far more profound. He's saying that what we call the self, this solid, unchanging, independent entity that we think we are, is a construction, a story we tell ourselves, and we've mistaken the story for reality. Think about it this way. You probably have a mental image of yourself, right? You might think, I'm an anxious person, or I'm confident, or I'm not good at math, or I'm someone who always helps others. These statements feel true. They feel like facts about who you are. But let's investigate. Where does this self actually live? Is it in your body? Well, your body is constantly changing. The cells you had 7 years ago are almost entirely replaced. The body you had as a child is nothing like the body you have now. Is the self in your mind? Your thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. Your opinions change, your beliefs evolve, your memories fade and shift. So where is this permanent, unchanging self that you're so sure exists? The Zen master Dogen, who founded the Soto school of Zen Buddhism, put it beautifully when he said, "To study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self." Notice he didn't say to deny the self or destroy the self. He said to forget it. When you deeply investigate what you think you are, you discover that you can't find anything solid to hold on to. And that's not a loss. That's the beginning of freedom. There's a famous Zen story about a monk who came to his teacher in distress. He said, "Master, my mind is not at peace. Please pacify my mind." The master replied, "Bring me your mind, and I will pacify it." The monk sat in silence for a long time, searching, and finally said, "I cannot find my mind." The master smiled and said, "There, I have pacified it. You see, the very thing the monk was suffering over, this troubled mind he wanted to fix, became elusive the moment he tried to grasp it. The suffering wasn't in the mind itself, but in his identification with it, in his belief that this temporary state of mental turbulence was who he fundamentally was. The Buddha broke down what we call a person into 5 aggregates, or skandhas: form, which is the physical body; feeling, which includes pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral sensations; perception, how we recognize and interpret things; mental formations, which are our thoughts, emotions, and habits; and consciousness, our basic awareness. He then went through each one systematically and showed that none of these can be the self. Why? Because each one is impermanent, each one is constantly changing, and each one arises dependent on causes and conditions beyond our control. Take your body. You didn't choose your DNA, your parents, the country you were born in, or whether you'd be tall or short, healthy or prone to illness. Your body responds to the food you eat, the air you breathe, the amount of sleep you get. It's a process, not a thing. It's an ongoing event, not a permanent entity. The same is true for your feelings. Have you ever tried to hold on to a good mood when you're hungry or exhausted? Have you ever tried to will away sadness or anxiety? Feelings arise based on conditions. They stay for a while, and they pass. You don't control them, and yet we constantly identify with them. We say, "I am angry," rather than "there is anger present." We say, "I am depressed," rather than "there is depression arising." This distinction might seem small, but it changes everything. When you say, "I am angry," you've fused your entire sense of self with a temporary emotional state. When that anger is criticized or needs to be let go, it feels like you're being attacked, like you're being asked to give up a part of who you are. But when you recognize that anger is simply an emotion arising based on conditions, just like clouds forming in the sky, you create space. You're no longer trapped in it. You can observe it, understand it, and let it move through you without becoming it. The Dalai Lama explains this with remarkable clarity. He says that our normal way of thinking about the self is like believing there's a permanent, independent person sitting inside us, pulling the strings, making decisions, experiencing life. But when we look closely, we can't find this person anywhere. Instead, what we find is a flowing process of body and mind, constantly changing, constantly influenced by countless conditions. He teaches that understanding no self doesn't mean we become nothing, or that morality doesn't matter. It means we stop clinging to a false idea of who we are. And in that release, we discover a much more flexible, compassionate, and connected way of being. Let's bring this down to practical, everyday experience. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to maintain your self-image? Think about how much energy you spend trying to prove you're smart, or capable, or worthy, or different from how others might see you. Think about how much you worry about what people think of you. How much you replay conversations in your head, wondering if you said the right thing, if you came across the way you wanted to. All of that exhaustion comes from trying to protect and maintain something that, when you look closely, isn't actually there in the way you think it is. The Buddha taught that this clinging to self is the root of all our suffering. In the Dhammapada, it says, "All suffering comes from attachment to the notion of self." It's not that having a personality is bad, or that functioning as an individual in the world is wrong. It's the desperate grasping, the constant need to defend and prop up this identity that creates our pain. When someone criticizes you, why does it hurt? Because you've identified with the criticism. You've taken it as an attack on this self you believe you are. When you don't get the recognition you think you deserve, why does it sting? Because you've built a story about who you are and what you're owed, and reality isn't matching that story. There's another Zen story about a samurai who came to a monk and demanded, "Tell me about heaven and hell." The monk looked at him and said, You're nothing but a slob. You're a disgrace to the samurai class. Why should I waste my time on someone like you?" The samurai flew into a rage, drew his sword, and raised it to strike the monk down. At that moment, the monk said calmly, "That's hell." The samurai froze, suddenly understanding. He lowered his sword, overwhelmed with gratitude for the teaching. The monk smiled and said, "And that's heaven." You see, hell wasn't some afterlife punishment. Hell was the samurai's complete identification with his anger, his wounded pride, his need to defend his self-image with violence. Heaven was the moment he saw through it, the moment he recognized what was happening and let it go. Now, you might be wondering, if there's no self, who's meditating? Who's trying to wake up? Who's making choices? These are excellent questions, and they've been asked by seekers for thousands of years. The answer the Buddha gave is subtle. There is a process of thinking. There is a process of acting. There is a process of experiencing. But there's no unchanging, independent experiencer separate from those experiences. It's like asking, where is the river? You can point to water flowing between banks, but the river isn't some separate thing from the water, the banks, the current, the gravity pulling it downward. The river is the entire dynamic process. You are like that. You're not a thing having experiences. You are the experiencing itself, constantly flowing, constantly changing. Master Shunryu Suzuki, who brought Zen to America, said something beautiful about this. He said, "When you do something, you should burn yourself completely, like a good bonfire, leaving no trace of yourself." What he means is that when you're truly present, when you're fully engaged in what you're doing, there's no separation between you and the activity. There's no self standing back, commenting, judging, worrying about how it's going. There's just the doing. Have you ever been so absorbed in something that you forgot yourself completely? Maybe you were painting, or playing music, or having a deep conversation, or watching a sunset. In those moments, the sense of being a separate self drops away, and there's just pure experience, pure aliveness. That's actually your natural state. The sense of being a separate, solid self is what we add on top of it. The teaching of no self isn't asking you to achieve some special state or become enlightened in some distant future. It's inviting you to notice what's already true right now. Your thoughts arise on their own, don't they? You don't sit down and decide, now I'm going to think about what I had for breakfast. The thought just appears. Sounds come to your ears without you trying to hear them. Your heart beats without you commanding it to. Your breath breathes you. Even what we call decisions and choices emerge from a complex web of conditioning, influences, memories, desires, fears, all happening before conscious awareness catches up. This doesn't mean you're a puppet, or that free will is an illusion in the way we usually think. It means the whole framework of a separate controller making choices is backwards. In the Visuddhimagga, an ancient Buddhist text, it says, "Suffering alone exists, none who suffer. The deed there is, but no doer thereof." When you first read that, it sounds cryptic, maybe even nihilistic. But sit with it. What it's pointing to is that there is pain in the world. There are actions and consequences. But we add an extra layer of suffering by believing there's a permanent self that these things are happening too. When you cut your finger, there's pain, but there doesn't have to be a story about poor me. Why does this always happen to me? I'm so unlucky. The pain is just pain, arising and passing based on conditions. It's the self-story that turns pain into suffering. So what do we do with this teaching? How do we actually live with an understanding of no self? First, start investigating. The Buddha didn't ask anyone to believe him. He said, "Come and see for yourself." Take time, whether in meditation or just in daily life, to look for this self you think you are. Where is it? Is it in your body? Which part? Your head? Your heart? Your stomach? Is it in your thoughts? If so, which thought is you? The thought you had 5 minutes ago or the one arising now? Is it in your awareness? But awareness is empty. It has no form, no color, no substance. It's like a mirror reflecting everything but not being any of the reflections. The more you look, the more you'll find that what you've been calling I is actually a process, a flow, a dance of causes and conditions. Not a thing. Second, practice letting go of self-reference. Notice how often your thoughts circle back to you. I like this, I don't like that. What will they think of me? Did I do well? Am I good enough? Why did they treat me that way? See if you can create moments where you're just present with what is without constantly referencing everything back to a me. When you're walking, just walk. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the air on your skin. See the colors around you, without the running commentary of how you feel about it all or what it means about you. This is what the Zen tradition calls shikantaza, just sitting, or we could say, just being. Third, extend compassion outward. One of the beautiful paradoxes of no self is that when you stop being so fixated on defending and maintaining your own separate self, you naturally become more connected to others. The boundaries soften. You realize that everyone is struggling with this same confusion, this same desperate attempt to be somebody, to matter, to be okay. The Dalai Lama teaches that recognizing no self actually deepens compassion because you understand that others' actions come from the same conditioned processes as your own. They're not attacking yourself because there is no solid self to attack. They're acting from their own confusion, their own pain, their own conditioning. This doesn't mean you accept harm or become passive. It means you respond with wisdom rather than reactive defensiveness. There's a story about Ryokan, a beloved Zen monk and poet who lived in Japan. He was known for his simplicity and kindness. One night, a thief broke into his small hut. The thief searched everywhere but found nothing of value. Ryokan, who had been watching quietly, felt sorry for the man. He took off his only robe and gave it to the thief, saying, "I wish I could give you this beautiful moon, but take this robe as a small gift." The thief, bewildered, took the robe and fled. Ryokan sat naked under the moonlight and wrote a poem. The thief left it behind, the moon at my window. This is the freedom of no self. Ryokan had nothing to protect, no self-image to defend. He saw the thief's need and responded with generosity. He wasn't attached to being the victim or the wise monk or anything else. He was just present, just human. As you go deeper into this understanding, something shifts in how you relate to everything. Your problems don't feel as heavy because you're not carrying around this solid, serious self that needs to be protected at all costs. Your joys become richer because you're not constantly analyzing them or worrying about losing them. You become more fluid, more adaptable, more free. The Buddha used the metaphor of water. Be like water, he taught. Water takes the shape of whatever container it's in, yet it never loses its essential nature. It flows around obstacles. It can be soft like mist or powerful like a wave. This is what you become when you let go of clinging to a fixed self. Responsive, alive, flowing with life rather than fighting against it. The teaching of no self isn't meant to make you feel empty or meaningless. It's meant to wake you up to the incredible aliveness that's here when you stop trying to be somebody in particular. You are not a noun, you're a verb. You're not a fixed thing, you're an unfolding. You're not separate from life, you're an expression of it. When you really get this, not just intellectually but in your bones, everything changes. You stop waiting for life to start once you fix yourself, or achieve something, or become who you think you should be. You realize you're already here, you've always been here, and the only thing standing between you and complete freedom is the illusion that you're something other than this moment, exactly as it is. So I want to leave you with this question to contemplate. What would your life look like if you stopped defending yourself? Not in a reckless way, but in the sense of no longer needing to prove anything, no longer needing to maintain an image, no longer needing to be right or special or understood in a particular way. What would open up if you let all of that go? Sit with that question. Let it work on you. If this exploration has touched something in you, if you're feeling that pull toward greater understanding and freedom, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We're going to continue diving into these profound teachings, making them practical and accessible. Hit that like button if this resonated with you. It helps others find these conversations. And most importantly, share your insights in the comments. What came up for you as you listened to this? What are you noticing about your own sense of self? Let's learn together. The path of no self isn't about becoming someone different. It's about seeing through the illusion and discovering what's been here all along, the vast, open, boundless awareness that you truly are. May you find that freedom. May you live with lightness, and may you discover that in losing yourself, you gain everything. Thank you for being here. Until next time, keep investigating, keep opening, and keep waking up to the truth of who you really are.